saying that it was caused by another person. Or someone else has to resolve your problem because you didn't cause it. Start taking ownership of all your mistakes that you've created. So, hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the importance of starting to take ownership of your mistakes and getting out of the victimhood and feeling the need that someone else has to save you. Because essentially, you feel like your mistake, that your present moment wasn't created by you. Start taking ownership of all the mistakes. Because once you do, that's when you can fully control your future. Now, to first begin, I want to talk about how we might have started, how we might have started to create this kind of fear of, oh, I didn't do it, they did, how we started to create this fear and start blaming others of our mistakes or not taking ownership. This all started with, of course it could have started with our childhood, but I feel like a lot of it, of course childhood, but once again, it's like a chain of events, right? This came more because the idea of mistakes are, in my opinion, the reason why humanity has been able to improve so much, because they've created every single mistake in the book. And for us to be fearful of making mistakes and not taking ownership of them is the reason why we've slowed down improvement. And it is because I feel like from childhood or even from the school system, they've taught us that we cannot make mistakes. And if we make mistakes, we get punished. And because of that, we've taught our brain to fear mistakes, to never make them, and to be absolutely perfect, and which makes us not go out of the box, not try nothing new, or completely give up our control of our life to another. Because we were taught that making mistakes will, because when we're with our parents, they would criticize us, they would get angry with us, believing, in fear or inadequate because we kept making mistakes. Then in school, the same thing. We went to school, they taught us that making mistakes were wrong. Why is it important to own your mistakes? It's because this is how you learn from your mistakes. This is how you surpass who you are in the past, who you are in the present, and change your future. You need to know how to own your mistakes so you don't repeat the same mistakes you've made. It helps, of course, you start to build trust because you start taking ownership of your mistakes. And then also taking ownership of your mistakes also doesn't allow other people that shame you to make you feel guilty because you made them. I feel like, especially when I was a child, I remember I would do a mistake and then no adults saw, but there was all my friends or my cousins, they would see that I made it and right away run to my parents, or even at that young age, they would blackmail me. They're like, okay, if you make me this or you get me this, I won't tell you did that. I won't tell that you, broke the swing set. So I'll be like, of course. And then, they of course ended up telling them because they kept wanting more stuff. So that's when I learned, I was like, oh, why would I was like, that's when I learned that, okay, you're never gonna, that's when I learned you need to start taking ownership of your mistakes because people are going to use it against you. And then you yourself are going to use it against you because you're not going to be improving. So I was like, okay, I started owning up to my mistakes. I would run up to an adult. I would run up to the school. I'll be like, yeah, I did that. So what? What are you going to do? And most of the time they were in shock because I would tell on myself. So they wouldn't do anything. They would be like, okay, it's okay. And that's when I recognized the power of owning up to your mistakes. Because I was like, so many people don't. They always try to blame other people or try to hide it underneath the rug. And I started taking ownership of all my mistakes. Of course, there was times where it didn't work, but most of the times it did work. And I would always, they would always not care because it wasn't a big deal. And then that's when I was like, okay, I don't care if I make mistakes. I'll just own up to it because they're my mistakes. I learn from them. They're mistakes are wisdom if you take ownership. Every mistake could be a setback if you don't learn from them. But if you learn from them, it could be wisdom, something no one can take away from you. No one can take away from you that mistake. And if someone makes you feel bad, just throw it back to their face. Be like, yeah, so what? It's my mistake. Don't give them that control. Don't give them the opportunity to take that control of making you feel guilty or shame for a mistake you made. Throw it back to their face and tell them, yes, it's my mistake. Tell them, so what? What about it? It's my mistake. They can't do anything about it. They lost the power because you don't care. You owned up to that mistake. And then you even owning up to mistakes create like this trust with people. They start trusting you because you're always gonna be like, yeah, I did it. And we'll fix it. Tell them, you have to learn to say, even to yourself, so what? I made this mistake. Tell them, this is my mistake. I did it. So what? I've learned from it. And you're not going to do it again. Why? Because you owned up to it. You're going to learn from that mistake. You know it was a mistake. You recognized it. You saw what you did, and you fixed it. Are you going to make it again? No. Well, that's why I always say own up to your mistakes. It's important. Because that's one of the reasons why it's a huge setback. And I don't understand why a lot of school systems or our parents teaches us mistakes are bad, but in reality, it's the reason why we grow. It's the reason why humanity is what it is right now, because people have created mistakes after mistakes. But we learn from them. And owning up to those mistakes makes you a better person because no one can control you. And you are able to solve your own problems. No one can make you feel guilty. No one can make you feel shame for a mistake you made. Because why? You own up to them. You throw it to them and say what? Well, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye. Have a lovely day.